Good evening, everyone. It's Wednesday night. It's 8 o'clock. It is the TNG Review Show. Yay! Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to another TNG Review Show with myself, Monteban, and my co-host, Maz and McBob.
Hello.
Hello. Good evening, Maz. How are you this fine evening?
Very good, thank you. How are you?
I'm not feeling tops, to be honest. And I've had better days. I've been feeling a bit ropey today. There seems to be a bit of a sickness bug in the family, and it seems to be my turn today. So, yes, not having the greatest of day, but the show must go on. The TNG review must continue, so we're here regardless, and fighting through it.
Not fighting fit, but fighting through it.
Exactly. So no gin for me tonight. I've just got the water.
I have a little Wayne. No gin,
got
but some Wayne.
A little bit of the blood wine.
Yars.
Yes. Yeah. So have you had a good week, Maz and McBob?
Yeah, it's been a bit busy work-wise, but yeah, it's been good.
Good. We're here this evening to talk about The Hunted, Season 3 episode of Star Trek The Next Generation. I'm just saying that we got, so far on this evening, we have Stu Plum. Hiya, Stu Plum. And yourself.
Stu Plum.
We will be Smile a Rainbow list probably this evening.
No wrench.
No wrench this evening. She's had a busy day, so yes, you better behave yourself in chat, Stu Plum, because Smile a Rainbow's not going to be here to keep you all one person in line. But yes, never mind. Good news for the channel. G-Star's Vaults episodes are still doing really well, and the channel's up to 121 subscribers. So nice. That's a pretty big increase. We've been getting like a subscriber a day for the last week, so that's brilliant. That's pretty good.
And that one that was getting all the views, is that still continuing to go up? Yeah,
that's over 3,000 views now.
Nice.
His G-Star Vault about the Bigfoots. Yep. So yeah, his Bigfoot content's doing really well. And on that note, this week on Friday, please feel free to join us for the Monty Zone, where we're going back to the Bigfoot topic. And we're going to be reviewing all of the footage found through G-Star Vaults over the past year, relating to Bigfoot, Sasquatches, and the Wild Men, and reviewing them all together. And
you got any of your fellow Bigfoot enthusiasts on the show?
Yes. Yeah, Dan Godwin, I think, will be joining us on the in the studio to cast Brilliant. his eye over the footage as well, and we'll be discussing the thoughts and maybe some of the comments made in chat in the G-Star Vaults and their opinions, and just having a little review of all that, as it's been going quite well recently.
I do see a lot of comments about sort of lengths of arms and angles of knees and things.
Yeah, we'll be getting our microscopes out and our magnifying glasses and tape measures and and playing investigations. Yes.
Didn't think you'd need magnifying glasses for such big feet.
That's true. Yeah, you can't miss them. That's for sure. So anyway, that's Friday. Please feel free to come and join us on that. But anyway, tonight we're here to talk about The Next Generation. We are consigning another episode of Star Trek The Next Generation to the vault, by way of me talking about it. Yeah.
Before we start, do you want to kick off with the Klingon word of the day, as it's apt?
We do have a Klingon word of the day. Now, I was thinking that we've had some weird ones like booby trap and Klingon knife and stuff like that. But I thought we should start off with something simple and, easy to use. And we've got good night. So why not have hello? So Klingon for hello is Nukne.
Nukne.
Yep, that's
Try and remind that.
Nuqneh. Nukne.
Remember that for next week.
So when we start our streams now, we can say Nukne.
Everybody.
Hello. Yeah. As well as saying Mazram to Stu Plum when he disappears early.
Bless.
Which is,
Very
of course,
cool.
good night.
Got hello and good night. That's we're bookending our episodes.
Yes, in Klingon. So there we go.
I was looking on the the Star Trek fan, the Next Generation fan site on Facebook earlier, and somebody was saying about the Klingon language that he heard about these two people who met at a convention. I think one of them was Swedish and one of them was like Spanish or German or something. But basically, neither of them spoke each other's language, but they both spoke Klingon. So they started dating and they started off speaking Klingon until they sort of started to learn each other's languages. Well, that's quite
that's
sweet.
Really cute. Yeah. Very cute.
Klingon language, bringing people together in love.
Yes. I do have a request for Stu Plum, actually, as he's like the only one on. Could you let us know if you're hearing everything fine? Because I haven't got Smiler Rainbow's thumbs up to say that everything's working well. So yeah, if you could let us know whether we're coming through loud and clear, that would be great.
You can be an honorary wrench.
Yes, an honorary wrench for this evening, Stu Plum. Yeah, you'll have to keep yourself in line. Yeah. Right. So, Nukne.
Hi.
Right, the Hunted. So, we're talking about episode 11 of season 3, production number 40273-159. The sound is okay, says Stu Plum. That's good to know.
Brilliant.
Yep. It's the 58th episode to be produced and released of the 176 TNG episodes. The description. Whilst the Enterprise D is reviewing a seemingly idyllic planet's application for Federation membership, an escaped prisoner leads her crew to discover an ugly secret: the government's shameful treatment of its war veterans. It was written by Robin Bernheim, and she was quite a prolific sci-fi writer. She wrote episodes for Quantum Leap, Earth Final Conflict, and some other Star Trek episodes. In particular, she was the writer and producer for Series 6 of Voyager. And it was directed by Cliff Bowl, who directed 25 episodes of TNG, including Best of Both Worlds Parts 1 and 2.
Good episodes.
Yeah, Cliff Bowl is a prolific. He directed a lot of Deep Space Nine and Voyager episodes as well. In fact, he was so involved in Star Trek in the production of it that the Bolians, the blue.
Oh yes.
Like Moth, the hairdresser. Is it Mott?
Yeah.
Yeah, Bolians are named after Cliff Bowl.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah. There was even a cliff named Bowl. They went to in the holodeck or on vacation in Deep Space Nine. They went to the Bowl Cliff, which is another reference to Cliff Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, we were saying last week that the neutral zones are all named after people, and there's actually something in this episode that's named after somebody, but we'll wait till we get to that.
Okie dokie doos. Right. Just thought I've got to get I haven't done a share screen. You want pictures. People want pictures.
Pictures. And I see a little Chewie behind you.
Was there a little Chewie
boy.
that you could see?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'll just I know you can see him down there in the corner.
Yeah.
Looking. There he is. Karen's not on, so Karen, you're not on. You're missing.
Missed out.
You've missed out the Chewie section of the show. There you go. He's now gone to behind my name. You can't see him again now. Right. Bless him. He's been good today because I haven't felt like taking him out for walks or, been really particularly engaging. And so he's had to be really patient with me. And he's been looking after me. He has been giving me lots of licks and cuddles.
Aww.
So, yes. Right, so let's get on with the episode then. The teaser.
Yes.
Picard and Riker have been taken on a tour of Angosia 3, a planet that wishes to join the Federation. Their tour guide, Zephyrin Cochrane... sorry. I mean, Prime Minister Nayrok shows them around. Picard seems impressed with what he's seen, and Riker mentions that it's impressive how they've recovered from the Tertian War. Now, we don't actually find anything out about the Tertian War, but we can only assume by that statement that the Angosians were at war with the Tarsians, I'm guessing.
Sounds about right.
Because they don't actually say what the war was or anything. It's just Riker's statement.
That's another planet.
Planet? I don't know. Did they won? Did they wipe them out? I don't know. Oh, Mickey, you're on. Hi, Mickey. Coming to us all the way from Bulgaria.
Oh yeah, I forgot that.
How's the snow trip? How's the snowboarding been? Has there been plenty of snow for you? Please tell us all about it in chat. We want to know. We want to know details. So yeah, feel free to let us know. Yes, so it's impressive how they recovered from the Tertian War. And Nayrok tells him how violence in any form is now abhorrent to the Angosians. And they're now only interested in pursuing arts and intellectual achievements. As they're talking, Aide pulls him aside to talk about an urgent matter. Whilst they're gone, Riker comments that he finds their culture too stuffy and wouldn't want to live there. Which is kind of rich coming from the Enterprise, because it's quite a stuffy place to live.
Yeah.
But anyway.
They've always been a little bit holier than thou themselves, right?
Yeah. Yep. Oh, Mickey's he's very good. He's having a great time. Couldn't miss this. Oh, he couldn't miss our show. I thought he said snow. He couldn't miss the snow. But he can't miss this. Oh, thank you for coming along. Yes. Wow,
Karen's on as well now.
We've really gone international now because, we're being watched in Bulgaria. I think that may be a first. That may be a first for the Vault and the TNG review show. Yeah, Karen's late. She's been to the theatre and just got back home. We are all well. Well, I'm feeling a little poorly, but I won't moan about it. I've done my moaning about that.
Yeah, you can rewind and watch the first 10 minutes.
Yeah, about me moaning that I'm not feeling very well today.
But you're soldiering on. I did message you earlier, didn't I? And say, if you're not up to it, we can cancel. But you said, show must go on. That's what you said, wasn't it?
Very good. That's exactly what I said. Yeah, not as tuneful as that, but...
it's hard to be tuneful via a text message on WhatsApp.
Yeah. Anyway, back to the teaser. Nayrok returns and tells them that a prisoner has escaped from a penal colony on Luna 5. He's stolen a transport. Their own security is not trained or equipped to deal with anything like this, so Riker gets Picard's permission to task Data and the Enterprise to track him down. Nayrok confirms Luna 5 is a maximum security facility, so consider him armed and dangerous. On the bridge, they watch the transport go behind an asteroid. However, only the drive section re-emerges. I just thought I got to move the... There's Riker telling Picard he finds the place. It's a bit too stuffy for my liking. That's what he's saying there. Yeah. So yes, the drive section re-emerges. Worf scans for life readings but doesn't find any. Data takes the Enterprise around the back of the asteroid to have a look-see, and they find debris on the surface. Yeah. Again, Worf finds no life signs, leaving Data to believe the prisoner didn't survive his escape. However, just then, Wes spots that the drive section has disappeared, saying that there must have been someone at the helm. Riker contacts for an update, and Data tells him the prisoner has eluded them, surprising both Riker and Picard on the planet. And that was the end of the teaser.
I think we might have a question time.
A question?
Yes. So my questions tonight are going to test different facets of people's ability and concentration and what have you. So this first one is attention to detail. And the question is, what planet is vying for entry into the Federation? Is it A, Lunar 5, B, Lunar 9, C, Angosia 3, or D, Ambrosia 3? Sorry, got my letters a little bit squiffy there. So what planet is vying for entry into the Federation? Is it A, Lunar 5, B, Lunar 9, C, Angosia 3, or D, Ambrosia 3? Did that make sense?
I've tried to put it in chat. I tried to do Smile a Rainbow's job.
Rainbow.
Yeah, I don't know how successful that was, but
it was kind of successful. Not entirely. Hi, Kevin. How are you?
Oh, he's going to listen in. Oh, good on you, Kevin. Thank you very much.
The first question is multiple choice, Kevin. So, you could always have a go. Well done. You've had a go.
Yes.
This first question as well is 20 points. I'm going to go up linearly this week. So it'll be 20, then 40, then 60, then 80, then 100.
All right. Very good.
Cool. And obviously, as you mentioned, James Cromwell, is it?
James Cromwell was.
I think this is his first Star Trek appearance, isn't it?
Yes,
I believe. And he's in a bunch of other things as well. Most of us know him most famously as Zefram Cochrane from First Contact. Brilliant role. He plays an absolutely great role as Zefram Cochrane, and really key role in the whole sort of development of Planet Earth and Warp Drive. But he was also in Birthright Part 1 and Part 2. He was Minister Hanok in Deep Space Nine Starship Down. And also in Star Trek Enterprise, Broken Bow, and In a Mirror Darkly. Wow. So he's gotten about a bit.
He really has.
Bit of a Star Trek veteran.
Yeah. He was very young looking, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this was definitely a few years before his later appearances. Hi Andrew, by the way. Thank you for popping along. Please feel free to have a go at our first question of the evening.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard, but it was, what is the planet which is vying for entry into the Federation? A, Lunar 5, B, Lunar 9, C, Angosia 3, or D, Ambrosia 3?
Oh, I spelled Angosia 3 wrong, so ignore that. I tried to get it done in time. I tried. Yes, it's Angosia 3C, not Andorsia 3. Yeah, ignore my typing.
I think everybody's answered now. We've got one from Stu, Mickey, Kevin, Karen, and Andrew. Are you playing this week, Monty?
I can give you the answer because I know the answer.
Yeah, you've got it all in your notes in front of you, haven't you?
It's Angosia 3C.
Yeah, the only one you got wrong. So Stu Plum got it right with 20 points. Mickey, unfortunately, you did not get that one right. No. Kevin, you guessed Luna 5, close but no cigar. Karen got it right and Andrew got it right. Karen and Andrew. There we go.
Well, right,
so that's 20 points for three of you off the starting blocks. Well done.
There's the ship going behind the asteroid. This ship was last used in the outrageous Okana, I think, as the ships that were chasing Okana.
Yeah.
That was used. It's been modified, but that was last used in that episode as well. So there you go. Right, Act 1. Picard and Riker beam up and find Data confused as to how the prisoner escaped. Nayrock hails them and says that the prisoner is Rogar Danar and is prone to extreme bouts of violence. The vessel did not have warp drive, so LaForge is certain it could not have fled the system. What a genius LaForge is. If he hadn't mentioned that on the bridge, they would never have known. But yes. Thank you, LaForge. But despite that, yes, right. But despite that, sensors cannot locate it. Picard thinks possibly cloaking device, but as they did not have that technology, Riker thinks maybe he borrowed one by suspending the ship over the magnetic poles of the planet to avoid detection. Data checks, and lo and behold, they find the ship. They tractor beam the ship, but the ship ignites its engine and rams the Enterprise shields, bouncing off. Picard wants the whole ship beamed into the cargo bay, but Data says there's no need. Rogar Danar is no longer in the drive section. Data extrapolated his tactics to date and foresaw that the ramming maneuver was a ruse, and that he actually put himself in the escape pod.
Smart little android.
It was smart. Picard signals to O'Brien to beam aboard the contents of the escape pod, which made me think, I've said this before, does O'Brien just sit in the transporter room, like, listening in to everything that's going on in the bridge, just in case at any moment they'll signal him to beam something? Because he doesn't, he just says, beam the contents of the of the pod into the transporter, and O'Brien's like, okay.
Well, this is why, when he's on Deep Space Nine and Worf says to him, how can you stand the chaos of this and stuff? And he's like, well, it's better than when I was on the Enterprise, just, standing around in the transporter bay waiting for something interesting to happen.
He just must listen.
He actually does.
Just listens to everything that goes on, just waiting to push the button. Yeah.
And that maneuver around, hanging around the planet's poles, obviously Riker knew about that because in season 2 episode Peak Performance it's sort of talked about, and he used that maneuver himself when he was serving aboard the Potemkin. So
yes.
Yeah, that's why Riker thought of that.
Yeah,
sort of good continuity there.
Continuity. Yes, it's a Rikery thing to do. Worf orders a security team to Transporter Room 4. Again, not 3, not O'Brien's favourite transporter room, but 4. How did Worf know that that's where O'Brien was, of all the transporter rooms on the... But anyway, in the transporter room, Miles is holding the prisoner in the pattern buffer until security arrives. He's also found a weapon that he's rendered inoperable. Security arrives and signals O'Brien to complete the beam-in. Danar materializes, and once he realizes his gun doesn't work, launches himself at the nearest security guard. A scuffle ensues. One of the security team shoots him with a phaser, but it has no effect. The fight spills into the corridor, where O'Brien shoots him whilst he's trying to pull off some security guy's arm. That also has no effect either, and he shoots O'Brien. Eventually, Worf and Riker arrive and subdue him. End of Act 1. There is something about that scene that just made me realise something, and I looked it up on the Show the Differences website, and I've got some pictures to show you. We see an interesting camera angle of the transporter room that we don't normally get. We don't normally get a point of view of being stood on the transporter pad, looking in that direction.
Yeah, when you're sort of looking at the security guards.
Yeah. So the one I'm talking about is sort of like this angle here. So you see this bit. You don't normally see this, looking in at it from that way. And it shows you how this transporter room, the TNG transporter room, was also used in Star Trek 6 An Undiscovered Country. So that's that same angle. And it's almost exactly the same, apart from in Star Trek 6, they put this booth in. Yeah. And that's because this is the same transporter room as was used in the original Star Trek 1, the motion picture. That also had a booth in. So if we go back to Star Trek 1, the motion picture, from that same angle, You can see the booth here, and you see this like entranceway. If you look at like the struts, that's sort of like hexagonal. Then if you look at that and then look at that, you can see that there's, well, you can't see that guy's in the way. Maybe the other one. You can see the same angle.
Yeah.
So it just goes to show
It's like just inset now.
It's still the same transporter pad and transporter room as was used in like Star Trek 1, the motion picture in the 1970s, which I just thought was quite interesting.
They do like to reuse their sets, as you prove on numerous occasions.
They do. They reuse a lot of things in this episode, to be fair. There's quite a number of things like that. Little like containers and things that you see in like the cargo bays and things. We'll get onto them in a little bit later on. So that was the end of Act 1. Have we got an Act 1 question?
Well, we don't actually. I've got 5 questions, but I've clearly put where I think the act breaks are in completely wrong places. So, no, we don't quite have another one yet, I'm afraid.
Okay, no worries. We'll just get back to the actual pictures and move on. That's Riker and Worf subduing.
I could have said, actually, you know,
guy.
the energy weapon that Denar was holding when he first transported aboard. It was actually broken during the struggle with the security officers. But what remains of it is on display in Seattle's Science Fiction Hall of Fame and Museum. So not only do they reuse their props, but they put some of them in museums.
Very cool. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah. Mickey says reduce, reuse, and recycle.
Exactly.
So it just goes to show that Star Trek's a green show. You know, they don't throw anything out.
I like it.
Yeah. Okay, we'll get on with Act 2 then.
Yeah.
Picard arranges Nayrock to have them pick Dana up and return him to Luna 5. Nayrock recommends he should be kept sedated. Riker asks Data why he did not register on any of their sensors. Data tells him that the prisoner has no life signs. Riker confirms this by asking the computer what the contents of the detention center is, and the computer comes back to say it's vacant. In his cell, Dinar is having a bad dream. Deanna picks up on it, so pays him a visit. She asks him if he's all right. She tells him that he's on the Enterprise and they are returning him to Luna 5. He asks her if she's the jail keeper, but she says she isn't. She asks him if they mistreat him, but he says no, they treat him well, he just cannot leave. He asks her if she normally visits prisoners, or does she just want to examine him under her microscope, and she wants to know why he has so much anger towards her. So Dinar lies and said a dark-haired girl broke his heart, which annoyed Deanna a little bit that he was lying to her. Yeah. She came because he sensed his pain, and now the pain is gone.
Do we have a picture of the brig at all?
Oh, probably.
Hey.
There we go. That's a new part of the set, the actual brig part. And then the back half of the set is the Battle Bridge Science Labs, millions of sets that bit has been used for over the years. It's the standard Star Trek room that's used for everything. Yeah.
Very good. And also that the guy who plays Roga Dana also played Dr. Fitzgerald in the Star Trek episode of Voyager, The Caretaker. And I think he died in that, his character. But yeah, so he is in
I did not realise that. I did not realise he was in The Caretaker.
So, Jeff McCarthy.
Well, there you go. Cool.
I'll tell you some things that you don't know. It doesn't happen often, but it happens sometimes.
I didn't know that one. Yeah. Cool. Deanna then goes to visit Picard in his ready room and tells him that it's like Dana has 2 personalities. He's capable of bad things, but those bad things trouble him greatly. She says he's intelligent and thoughtful, typically Angosian. Picard scoffs and reminds her he took out the security team and half the transporter room with it. Troy is still not convinced, though. Picard is happy still to turn him over. Troy asks Data to check with the Angosian government database for Daynar's police record, but Data can't find one. It turns out that Luna 5 is a military prison, which explains how he managed to evade them. They look into his military record and find it was exemplary. She visits him again and asks why he was put in prison, and Daynar tells her that he was put away because he was a threat to society.
Kevin wants to know if this episode has been on in the week. No, not that we know about specifically, but all of these episodes are on Netflix. So we just watch each episode each week in advance of the show.
Yeah.
So if you haven't watched them all, or if you haven't watched them for a long time, feel free to watch them along with us every week.
It's a bit like a book club, Yeah. But instead of people reading the book and then coming along to talk about the book, we watch Star Trek episode and come along to talk about stuff. Anyway, it's what
you
we do.
You don't have to, but you can. You can watch and join in.
Or you can just listen to my dulcet Southwest accent and
like ASMR, just let it put you to sleep.
Just listen along. Yeah.
I do have a question time, by the way, because you've gone past the bit now, but we only got a little bit left.
Yeah. Because he said that he was put away because he was a threat to society, and it turns out that his instructors in the military also called themselves counselors, which is why he had an instant dislike to her when she said she was not the jailkeeper, but the ship's counselor. Yes.
So, I was going to ask a question. So this will be probably annoying to the likes of Kevin, who might not have just watched this. In fact, this is probably going to be annoying to everybody, in fairness. But again, you can guess this. This is an easy guess. But when they were speaking to the Prime Minister, he was up on the view screen, right? And there was some stuff behind him on the wall. Don't find a picture of it.
Nope.
There was some stuff behind him on a wall. There was like a big glass sculpture and stuff. There was also a load of sort of cascading flowers on a plant. So this is testing your powers of observation. What color were those flowers?
Oh my God.
40 points for grabs. So
do you think you're
Guesses, please.
Do you think you're G-Star? Who do you think you are giving questions like that out?
He's been rubbing off on me.
Did he give you that question to give out?
No, not at all.
You come up with that all by yourself?
I was just like, oh, look at these flowers. Oh, I'll make that a question.
Oh my God.
There we go. Do you know, Monty?
No.
Oh, well, you know.
I'm going to go with something though. I'm going to guess.
Do you know, I don't know if it's somebody who's in it later, but do you know who the character Xanar is?
Xanar is the guy's like number one.
Right,
He's
and
like
that's
the
towards
second
the end,
in command.
Oh, it was at the beginning as well.
He was the guy that come up at the beginning and said,
Yes,
I've got an
that's
urgent
it.
thing to talk to you about.
Yes.
And took him to one side.
Good point. Because J. Michael Flynn, he's also appeared in 2 other guest roles on Star Trek. Enterprise as a Mazarite magistrate in Star Trek Enterprise Fallen Hero, and as a Romulan Nigel in Star Trek Enterprise Babel 1, in Star Trek Enterprise United, and Star Trek Enterprise The Aenar. So it seems like the 2 other roles he had were in multiple episodes, actually. So he was sort of a recurring extra.
We have a wrench in chat now. G-Star's here.
Hey!
He's like, who do you think you are? Lol.
I learned from the best G-Star.
Yeah,
you might not be doing these with us anymore, but your influence will stay.
Yeah. He might be back. He might be back a little bit later on. He's just got stuff to do at the moment.
Yeah. He's got other content to...
He's got viewers to make us...
Yeah.
He's busy. Yes. That's quite funny. So, we've got some answers in. I've actually gone with the same answer as Stu Plum. Stu Plum there. We've both gone blue. And Mickey says red, but he's shocked by your your question.
Karen says blue. Where's
Andrew's
Kaz
gone
there?
with pink, but my camera keeps blinking on and off. I bought a new capture card today that just arrived this afternoon, and hooked it all up, and it doesn't work with StreamYard. That's really annoying.
That's sad times.
Yeah, works perfectly with OBS, and it stops that blinking on and off, but couldn't get it to work with StreamYard.
So what was your guess, Monty? Oh,
Mine
you
was
guessed.
blue. Look, sorry, it came up as the vault because I'm the vault in the thing. But...
You did guess. Well, we
Yes.
have. Kevin guessed purple. We have 2 correct answers. The correct answer was red. G-Star and Mickey both got it right,
Well
both on
done.
40 points. And Andrew, Stu Plum, and Kaz are still on 20 points. Monty and Kevin still to get off the blocks.
Typical. Damn it.
It was a good guess.
It was a good guess. Yeah.
And you like a bit of foreshadowing, don't you?
I love it.
Well,
I love
Troy, when Troy meets Dana, he asks her if it's a war vessel, which is kind of foreshadowing yesterday's Enterprise. Where the Enterprise is a war vessel. But yeah, I just thought that was quite a nice bit of foreshadowing.
Yeah. Yes, he asks if it's a war vessel, and she's like, no, it's a Federation starship. Yeah.
Kevin's calling G-Star and Mickey a pair of swats.
Yes, right. You tell him. You tell him, Kevin. Yes. Okay, Act 3. Deanna meets with the senior staff in the observation lounge and tells them that Danar joined the military and didn't realise he would be saying goodbye to his life forever. He has been through intense physiological manipulation and biochemical modification. The doc backs her up, as she has given him a once-over and confirms that she doesn't even understand everything they've done to him. Riker is confused at who would do this, and Troy tells him the answer is his own government. He is the perfect soldier. In combat, everything is enhanced. Strength, memory, intelligence, everything. And she means everything. The doc also points out that one of the chemicals in him shields his electrical impulses, and Data's like, that's why we couldn't detect him. She goes on to say that Danar and others like him have not done anything wrong. It was just that he had trouble fitting in after the war. Data asks if anyone's tried to reverse the programming, but Deanna says she doesn't think so.
That's a bit harsh, isn't it? They're like, we've messed you up. We're not even going to try and fix you. There you go. Just live on that moon over there.
Yeah, we find out why a little bit later. Data visits Danar, who initially dismisses him, but then thinks, well, at least it's someone to talk to. Oh, I probably need to... That's them looking at his record. Sorry, I've been forgetting to move the... and that's her talking to them in the observation lounge. And then that's Data talking to him now. So,
Considering you said they're treated really well and stuff, like, couldn't they have given him a change of clothes?
It's a really manky, gupping
It looks
outfit.
so filthy.
It looks so filthy. It almost looks like he's got like his skid
Boot
marks have
stains.
gone up his bum and up his entire back. That's how long he's been wearing it.
Oh dear, that's
It's,
nasty.
It's nasty. It is. It's nasty. It's just not very nice. They could have given him people get the orange uniforms in prison. Surely in the brig, like they could have put something better on him than what he's currently wearing.
Yeah, you'd think.
G-Star's got to go. He's doing his Dogman research for Friday.
Ooh.
Yes.
Plus,
And he
Mickey
wants to
needs a chance to win.
Oh,
Cheeky.
harsh. Cheeky monkey. All right, G-Star, talk to you on Friday, 8 o'clock Friday, Monty Zone. Don't forget. Looking forward to it. Yes, hopefully we'll see you there too, Kevin, if you're around. And anyone else that wants to join and talk about Bigfoots. Yes. Yes, so there's Data visiting Danar. He dismisses him, but then thinks, well, I'll talk to him anyway. Data asks him if his program can be altered, but Danar doesn't think so. though he asks himself that question every day. In his ready
Data's so
room,
sweet in this scene. He's
he is,
like,
isn't he?
"Oh, we're like each other. We've both been programmed." It's like,
Yeah,
oh, he's like feeling empathy for the human.
yeah, that's right.
But I mean, of course, he's not because he doesn't have feelings. But he is really.
No, that's it. Yeah, yeah, which he mentions in a minute. In his ready room, Picard's talking to Nayrock, who says Daynar's full of shit. He says
Don't you
that
mean
what he's saying.
pants?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Fuck, sorry.
explains his uniform. He says that what he's saying is only half truths. He says that Luna 5 is a resettlement with added security features. Picard says his,
If ever I've heard it.
yeah,
Typical politician, eh?
I know. Picard says his medical advisors have told him that there may be a treatment, but Nayrock tells Picard to take his nose out of their affairs and hand over the prisoner, colonist. On ending the call, Picard laments a matter of internal security, the age-old cry of the oppressor. It's kind of like initial view of the Angosians and their lovely society has been well and truly smashed. In the detention center, Data tells Daynar that he was the one who managed to catch him. And Daynar says he would make a good soldier, but Data tells him that he's not programmed to kill. Daynar says thanks to his program, he's killed 84 times, and thanks to his improved memory, he remembers each of the 84 faces in perfect clarity. Do you know what that feels like? He asks Data, but Data doesn't because he doesn't feel. Picard and Troy enter, and Picard tells him he's being transferred, but makes it plain that he had no choice, and that he trusts his crew's opinion that he's a good man. Daynar is like, well, as long as we're being honest, know that I will do everything within my power to escape. Picard and Data leave Deanna with him, and he tells her he would rather die than return to Luna 5. The prisoner transport arrives. I've probably got a picture, maybe. Oh, here we go. The prisoner transport arrives, and they make ready to transport him out. Worf says let me just turn my phone noise off, because it keeps going boop boop boop. Shush, be quiet.
What's the gin tonight? Yeah, well, because Monty isn't feeling very well, and we do the gin tasting together because we've got to have the same ones. We're not doing that, but I'm still on red wine, and I have this. It's got a really cool label, so I'm going to show you because it looks almost like a cartoon. It's called Dan Django.
Dan Django.
Dan Django. Very cool bottle. It's Australian Shiraz, Barossa Valley Shiraz.
Yeah, I'm just on the water because I'm not feeling too good.
Are you on the gin, Mickey? Are you drinking something interesting in Bulgarian? Do let us know.
I think he probably is. After a day's snowboarding, he's probably on something.
Hot toddies?
Yeah. Yes, the prisoner transport arrives and they make ready to transport him out. There'll be a 0.1 second delay between the shield force fields going down and the transport starting. Despite that and the presence of the security team, Daynar still manages to break out of the transporter beam and goes on the run throughout the ship. It's really interesting how he kind of like wrestles his way out of the transporter beam.
Yeah, he's like just trying to get his hand out and stuff. I just didn't even know that anything like that was possible.
I guess it's something to do with his modifications or something like that. He's on the local beer. I can't read what it says.
Carmenitiza. Very nice.
That's the end. That was the end of Act 3. Do you have an end of Act 3 question?
I do. Now, this question is a history knowledge question. So this isn't specifically pertaining to this episode. So this might be a little bit maybe not fair on some people. But I just thought it was interesting to note that, they talk about how this episode is sort of, opening that conversation of how people treat veterans when they come back and, they're not treated as well as they should be and that sort of thing, which is true and mirrors real life as a lot of these episodes do. But also they said that he's had psychological conditioning, but also kind of genetic manipulation to make him sort of stronger and faster and quicker reflexes and such like. And actually, the Earth and the Federation went through a similar sort of situation and set of wars, which was to do with people being genetically manipulated. So 60 points to anybody who knows the name of those wars which were based on people being genetically enhanced.
I know
you would know. I almost feel like you shouldn't be allowed to get points for this one, but
I need the
you haven't got any points yet, so maybe I'll let you. But yeah, anybody who knows what those wars based on genetic manipulation, if it helps, what's he called? Khan Soon, was one of those genetically enhanced.
It was the reason why he was put on the his people were put out in space on the Botany Bay.
And it's the reason why genetic manipulation is illegal, and therefore Bashir gets in trouble and such like when that's found out with him. Yeah. So yeah, anybody who knows the name, I know this is a real sort of general knowledge question. Karen says Clone Wars because cloning is a type of genetic manipulation, right?
That's a good answer. It's a good answer.
It's a great answer.
In the word of that guy that does catchphrase, it's good, but it's not right.
No, but it is funny. Yeah. And she said just kidding, so she might have a serious answer in there somewhere if she's trying to remember the name of it. I thought maybe Stu Plum might know as well. I know he's been an avid Star Trek fan for a long time.
Name of the war that stopped genetic.
Anybody who doesn't know, Google it.
There you go.
If it's too hard, Google it.
Oh no, don't Google it.
No, don't Google it. Don't cheat.
That's what people are doing right now. They're all Googling away.
I'm like, what the hell is she on about? I knew this was going to be a hard one, but I thought we're doing like attention to detail, observation. I thought I'd do history.
You really have taken your role from G-Star very seriously.
I'll be less serious next week. How about that?
The Tin Hat Wars.
The Tin Hat Wars.
I'm going to put it in chat now. I'm going to put everybody out of their misery.
You might not be right. You never know.
I don't know how to spell it.
What other bits of triv have we got?
I might not be right. It's true. I could be wrong. I honestly, I could be wrong. Here we go.
Oh yeah, I talked about it.
Oh, Karen's finally Google's worked in her favour.
Google's worked in her favour. Well, there's I think Stu Plum still hasn't answered yet, so let's leave it another moment or two.
Andrew's gone the extra effort here, and he's given us a breakdown of
when
what
Nazis were trying to create the perfect soldiers.
Yep.
Very nice, Andrew.
That's it. Well done.
And I forgot to say this earlier, but there's like an observation about when he originally beamed on board the ship. He attacked O'Brien and the security guards, and then like O'Brien's going security. I mean, for a start, he's going security. He's like leaving like 1 second in between yelling for security, who never turn up. There's nobody else on standby. They never turn up, and then Worf and Riker get there, and even after they struggle and subdue him, still no other security show up.
No.
So poor O'Brien. He's there, stood there waiting for something interesting to happen, and then he gets shot, and nobody even comes to his rescue.
You'd think the transporter room, being the type of room that it is, would have like deployable phaser cannons come down from the ceiling or something. If anybody like beams aboard and starts something, like trying to take over the ship, you think they have some like frontline defense in the transporter room, wouldn't you?
You would. And I liked with Worf as well, because again, I forgot to mention this, but like Worf sort of almost body checks, dives across Riker to sort of save him or whatever.
He does, yeah.
But then he rather uncharacteristically kind of goes and peeks really slowly out to see what's going on. You would expect somebody like Worf to just like go and just like go and attack them. But he's so kind of like, timid the way he's sort of seeing what's going on. It was quite comical, I found.
Okay, so Stu Plum's got Don't Know Wars. Andrew, myself, and Karen have gone with eugenics, and Mickey
Junkyard
Tin Hat.
Wars.
Junkyard Wars. Oh, very good.
So Monty has got 60 points, and
Yay! I got some points. I'm on the board.
Kaz has another 60 points, putting you on 80. And Andrew has another 60 points, which also puts you on 80. I think that was everybody, wasn't it? Kaz, Monty, and Andrew. So we've got 2 people on 80. Andrew and Kaz currently in the lead.
Brilliant stuff.
March on, Monty Band.
Marching on with Act 4. So they shut down all the shuttle bays, turbo lifts and transporters, and Picard orders general quarters, so Danar can't take any hostages. They also raise security containment fields on decks 34 to 36, and Riker orders the re-enabling of the turbo lifts. Because the sensors can't track him, they hope that when he uses the turbo lifts, that'll register with them and they'll be able to nab him. Luckily, Danar, looking for a way off the ship, does try the turbo lift. So they think, yes, we've got him. They divert the turbo lift to Worf's position, but instead of Danar, there's a phaser overloading. Worf, cool as a cucumber, deactivates it. I love it. I love it when it's like there's a phaser there and it's like it's making that horrible noise a phaser does when it's about to go kablooey. And he just sort of saunters over to it, picks it up, flips it over.
It's pretty brave. It's like
pushes a few buttons.
It's like trying to put the pin back in a grenade before it goes off in your hand, right?
Yeah, but he's just as cool as a cucumber as he's doing it. Not a care in the world.
Total bravery, making up for his peaky hidey behind the wall thing.
Yeah. Meanwhile, on deck 36, Danar knocks out a security guy and uses his comm badge to deactivate a force field. Gains access to engineering, overrides the security lockouts, and restores power to Shuttle Bay 2, and starts to make his way there. Data manages to override his override, and deactivates Shuttle Bay 2. They also track his movements through the Jeffries tubes, and that is what this is, by the way.
Yes. And Andrew said that's a cool shot. It is a very cool shot. I was trying to decide between that one and the one that I posted on Facebook, but yeah, it is a very cool shot. Oh, and I said earlier that there's something else in this episode that's named after a real person.
Jeffries tubes.
Yeah.
Named after the guy who invented the original Enterprise.
Yes.
From the 60s
Matt
Star
Jeffries,
Trek.
designer of the original. And he was also the art director for the original series.
Yeah. He designed a lot of the sets and things. So when they originally came off from the 60s Star Trek, there were these little tubes that came off the main corridor, went off at an angle. And you can often see Scotty like up there twiddling with something, and they named them Jeffries tubes. This particular one, this is interestingly, well, I say interestingly, but that's just because I have these moments where I should be talking like this. Interestingly,
such a stereotype. Geeks can come in all shapes and forms.
Including this one. This is the first time I think Jeffrey tubes are used in Star Trek The Next Generation. And later versions are a lot smaller and they crawl through them pretty much. Yeah. This one is a reuse of the Jeffries tube from Star Trek V, The Final Frontier. It's the Jeffries tube that Scotty walks down where he goes, I know this ship like the back of my hand.
And then
and walks straight into one of these circular things and knocks himself out.
Do you know what? It also reminds me a little bit of a lot of the things on Deep Space Nine are circular like this. It's almost like hoop things, but they have like little ridges at the bottom that everybody has to step over. Stupid Cardassian design.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It's like a ship, isn't it? It's like a ship to stop the water, like so they can seal. Yeah.
Kevin says, how many Star Trek inventions have actually come true? And Andrew says that was an interesting attempt on a Scottish accent.
Was that me?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh,
to be fair, you were doing an impression of somebody who also does an interesting impression of a Scottish accent.
Yeah, it was someone from the southwest of England doing an impression of a Canadian doing an impression of a Scottish accent. So, yeah, I suppose.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, sorry about that. I should not do accents. Sometimes I try to do Mickey's accent.
You do them all you like because it makes us laugh.
It never goes well, does it? It never goes well. How many Star Trek inventions have actually come true? 50. No, I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's a good question. There's obviously been a few, like little sort of flip phones and
Yeah.
communications devices and such like. Probably some kind of lasers. I think hypo sprays, like they've got those kind of sort of similar injection things now. When
The
are
scanners
they
on
going to
the
have a
beds.
transporter?
The scanners on the medical beds
Oh
that
yeah.
read all your vital signs.
Mm-hmm.
They have them now. They they actually used some of the ideas to produce blankets for NASA for astronauts with the original 60 Star Trek. They use like iPads, like tablets, and they have laptops and things before those things were really invented.
Yeah, and the holodeck. I mean, we have sort of VR suites and stuff
Yeah,
like that now.
yeah.
It's not quite as good as holodecks, but it's getting there.
It's getting there, isn't it?
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. We have 3D screens. Like the view screen on the bridge is a 3D screen. So you have like the Nintendo 3DS, which is like a 3D screen. So yeah. Yeah, sorry, Andrew, for my terrible, terrible Scottish accent. Yeah, can he change the laws of physics? Stop, Mark, stop.
No, do it more makes me laugh.
Okay, so where were we? I think we were just starting. No, it was On the Run. That was it. We were talking about that, weren't we?
Yep. And the thingy blew up, or it didn't blow
Yeah.
up. It got diffused.
Yeah.
There was some funny things going on with the whatever level he was on, right? Because he was on level 12 and he saw the security guard stood there. And then he went to the lift, and then Worf disabled the thingy, and then he looked back, and the security guard, like same security guard, suddenly it's on level 36. So don't know how that happened.
No.
It's a bit strange.
Yeah. But they track his movements here through the Jeffries tubes because he accesses panels along the way. Geordi comments to Worf that the Shuttle Bay 2 is 25 decks up from engineering. That's a bit of a hike. But Worf and he also thinks Worf should double security. Danar opens up another panel in the Jeffries tube on deck 15 and sticks another overloading phaser in it. Data surmises that Shuttle Bay 2 is another misdirection by Danar, and the panels opening up is just an intentional trail of breadcrumbs. And indeed, he's correct, because Danar doesn't enter Shuttle Bay 2, he enters a cargo bay and tries to get the transporter up and running using another phaser. Picard orders Data to flood it with anasthazine. I think. Danar looks for anasthazine. Danar looks for a pressurized suit, a pressure suit. Sorry. Worf and his team move in, but cannot find him. Worf reports there's a missing pressure suit, so Riker thinks he might be trying to get to Shuttle Bay 2 from outside the ship. So they post guards on the airlocks and the torpedo tubes, and the security team leave the cargo bay. But we find that Danar never left. He was hiding. As he's about to leave the cargo bay, he turns out that Worf foresaw his tactics and is waiting for him. Worf thinks he must have Klingon blood, but the battle is now over. Danar replies that the battle is never over. At that moment, the phaser detonates in the Jeffries tube, knocking out the power and lights to the cargo bay, and Danar uses that moment of confusion to launch at Worf. They scuffle, and eventually Danar manages to beam himself onto the Angosian transport and takes the pilots hostage. With the external sensors disabled in the explosion, Data can't track them, and they get away.
Yeah, so, and Worf says, you must have Klingon blood. It's like the highest compliment from Worf, right?
It is. He's impressed, isn't he?
He is.
By what this
they
lad
must be
can
pretty
do.
well matched, I would guess, with Worf's general superior strength and fighting ability. But I think Danar would probably have it in a pinch.
Yeah.
That pressure suit that he stole was the same as the medical environment suits that were in Unnatural Selection, one of the earlier Next Generation episodes from a couple series before.
There's a couple of things to show you. Have we got a question time now?
We do have a question time. It is quite an easy one, so I'll ask it. People can put it in chat. Worth 80 points. Easy one for 80 points. How about that?
Oh, I like it.
I'll even do multiple choice, even though it's easy.
No.
Which shuttle bay did Data restore power to that was sabotaged? Was it shuttle bay 1, 2, 3, or 4? Which shuttle bay was the power disrupted and then restored to? Shuttle bay 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, right. I'll put that in chat. Whilst you're giving that a thought and putting your answers in, this is just another chance. We talked about this season how they've got the 4-foot model.
Oh yeah.
This is the shot from episode 11001001.
Yeah.
And it's the 6-foot model, and we can see how it's quite smooth, and the edge of the saucer section is quite thin, and we get a similar view of the Enterprise when the transport arrives to pick Dinar up, and with the 4-foot model, and we got another good comparison shot. So that's the 6-foot model, and that's the 4-foot model. And you can see how the things are thicker, and the saucer section, and that has, you can really see in this shot the detail that they put into the texturing and that of the saucer section.
I mean, that's
and
quite a big ridge going around the bottom section, isn't it? Like sort of a ring under.
Oh, what, this grey thing?
Yeah.
That's the phaser array.
Oh yeah, of course it is. Yeah.
Yeah. It's got a phaser array top and bottom of the saucer section, as well as you can just make it out on the edge of the pylons to the warp nacelles.
Go back to the original one. Can you see
can
the
also
phaser array on the original one?
There's a phaser array, look, under the secondary hull. So yeah, there's phaser arrays. If we go back to the 6-foot one, you should be able to see it. But
yeah.
Again, you can still see the phaser array there and there, but you can see how much smoother that model was.
Yeah, it somehow looks a bit more grrr.
Yeah. There's also some other things, because we were in that cargo bay. There were some items in the cargo bay. That's what the Jeffries tubes will look like later on. That's what they normally look like. So
just see that, and you see Chief O'Brien like just scrambling around in it.
That's right. Yeah. Interesting when we were in. I say interesting, but when we were in engineering, we see this is
interesting.
This was series 2, and 1 and 2. The screen at the back of engineering that has the schematics of the Enterprise on it doesn't contain much detail and is flat against the wall. Now in series 3, we see it's got a lot more details on it, and it now angles outwards.
Yeah, so it's got like it's got like this panel, this sort of like a panel for typing and things on, what have you.
Yeah. So
panel. Don't know what you want to call it.
So that's changed a bit, which I thought was interesting. In the cargo bay, so this is when they go in the cargo bay. You might have noticed these hexagonal things on the side here. These have been used in a number of other places, including, I'll bring them up here, in Star Trek V at Nimbus 3. They were in this shot, and that was the other crates in Vengeance Factor, and in Star Trek V at the top of the shuttle, at the top of the turbo lift, when they nearly hit the top of the turbo lift, you can see one in the top of the turbo lift there. So they've been used in other places as well. There's these blocks that you also see that fall about. Worf gets thrown through these blocks. They've been used in many sci-fi shows, right? Those blocks, here they are in, There they are, stacked up in Battlestar Galactica. And also, here they are.
Go Babylon 5. No.
Buck Rogers.
Nice.
They're in the background of Buck Rogers. So they've been used in Buck Rogers, Battlestar Galactica, and now... they were originally in Code of Honor in the background.
Oh, yeah.
But now Worf gets thrown through them. There's also these ones as well. They were used in V, the final battle. They've even got like V writing on the middle of them, the alien writing V. They're also used in Star Trek 6. Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home. So they get around as well. And another note that the transporter in the cargo bays changed quite a lot. It was like an actual transporter pad in the cargo bay, but from now on, it's just like a circle on the floor. And I think it's like that from now on. Whenever we see it in the cargo bay, that's what it's like. So yeah, there you go.
So do you know the answer to the question?
It is, I'm going to go with Shuttle Bay 2.
And we got no answer from Kevin or Mickey. I mean, we'll let Mickey off. He is in Bulgaria.
Yeah. Kevin, get your answer in.
What, do you want me to tell answers or hang on
Go
a
on
moment?
then. Yeah, no, go for it.
Okay, then. It is indeed 2. So, yeah,
Yay.
sorry, Karen and Andrew. I think earlier it was Transporter Bay 4, wasn't it, when you were saying Transporter Bay 3 is...
Transporter Room 4.
Transporter Room 4, so maybe that's where people got 4 from. But, yes, no, it was number 2.
It was
So
Shuttle
that
Bay
would
2.
be 80 points to Monty. I mean, you did have it in front of you in your notes and said it about 5 times. So I don't know if it's entirely fair to give you the points for this.
No, probably not.
Steve Plum. Well, yeah, I don't know. Do you want the points? It does put you very in the lead. And you do still want to get on the leaderboard. But, yeah.
I am desperate to win at least one episode this season.
See, Andrew saying that's where he got confused. So
Yeah,
if you got this one right,
4.
you'd have been in the lead, Andrew. You'd have been in the lead. Good. It's
Right.
another good shot. I like the,
The
from
uplighting.
below. Yeah, uplight. That's.
Yeah.
I was like, I couldn't think of the word.
Very
Uplighting.
cinematic, isn't it? Very cinematic. You can see there he's used the phaser to power the transporter. So there you go. Okay, so we're in the final act, Act 5. They restore all the Enterprise's systems and they start looking for Danar. But then the Prime Minister hails them and tells them that Danar's attacked the penal colony on Luna 5. The prisoners are escaping and heading for the city. He goes on to say that they are not equipped to cope with this. That's what they designed them for. Picard says he'll send an away team and asks Troy, Worf and Data to join him. Riker also follows along. There we go. That's the away team there. On the way, Picard confirms with Troy and Data that the prisoners would only kill if they feel their survival is at stake, which they confirm that that's true. Riker pulls Worf to one side and tells him that Picard's safety is his responsibility. Got it? Worf says he understands. On the planet, the Agosians are arming themselves and ready for a confrontation, and the away team beams down. Nayrok is dismayed that only 4 of them is all Picard brought with him. But Picard is like, we are not here to fight your battles for you. Nayrok tries to argue with them that what they done was for the good of the people, and for them as they needed the skills to survive the war. Data wonders if the conditioning could be reversed. And Nayrok says that whilst the chemicals can be removed, the conditioning might not be possible. Picard points out that they are your brothers and your sons, and you've turned your back on them. Nayrok says, well, they had a referendum. You see, Maz? They had a referendum. And the people chose the cheapest and easiest course of action.
I was like, no good comes from a referendum.
Never ask the people anything. Trust me. We know that that's not the answer. Yeah. Anyway. Yes. So they had a referendum. Zanar, the guy we were talking about earlier, is like, besides, we might need them one day. Which, like, Picard's face at that response was just like, that's it. I've had enough of these people. And that was the last straw. Picard's about to say adios when the prisoners fill the room. Picard orders everyone to lower their weapons, as he knows they won't kill unless provoked. Danar tries to antagonize them into shooting, but the government reps do as Picard says. Basically, they go from like being the aggressors to just shoot us already. We just want to be part of our misery. Danar says that they want their lives back and they want to come home. Nayrok counters it. If they put their weapons down and return to Luna 5, then maybe he'll listen to them. But Danar is not having it. Nayrok asks Picard to do something, and Picard's like, okay, I will do something, and signals the Enterprise that the away team is ready to beam up. He tells Nayrok that the prisoner has now been returned, and he's updated his report, and that Nayrok now has a decision to make. He wishes him good luck. And in Nayrok's own words, they cannot interfere in how his society naturally develops. And it's going to do a lot of development in the next couple of minutes. He goes on to say, it's been interesting, and when you're ready to reapply, the Federation will be pleased to consider your application. And with that, they beam back to the Enterprise. On the bridge, Picard asks Riker to amend the report to say if the government survives the night, the Federation should help support the reintegration and deprogramming of its prisoners. Riker questions if the government will survive, and Picard thinks they will choose to. They then head off to Starbase Liar 3. That was the end of the episode. I quite liked how Picard dealt with it in the end there, that we see in this scene. He's just like, quite right, I should do something about it. Ready to beam up. And he's just like, we're out of here. Sort of plays that guy's arrogance of like, stay out of our business. And he's saying, yeah, you're quite right, I should stay out of your business and leave you to it.
Yes, indeedy. And that was Starbase Lyra 3, right? And I thought Lyra, yeah, that's the name of that main character from that Golden Lyra. Compass. I was like, it's a funny name for Starbase. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that's the picture I actually chose for the Facebook post. I thought that was quite a cool one. It's a good action shot.
The good thing about it is that you obviously the phaser fire is superimposed. It's a computer generated like thing, like laser, but they must have like had a flash, like someone with like a flash photography flash or something to make the glow and on all their faces and to like put their shadow on the walls.
Yeah.
So it's a good composite special effects shot.
It is.
Yeah.
Picard looks like, once again, he's having zero reaction to something major that's happening in front of him.
I know.
I mean, I'm sure
he's
he would
really
have
good
reacted
under.
a split second later, right?
I know, but say that's a second. It's like it was episode, not last one, the one before it, wasn't it? When all that stuff happens at the negotiation table, and there's that shot of all this crazy stuff happening, and Picard's just sat there impassively, just watching it all. Yeah, nothing phases our Picard, does it?
No. So I've got a whole bunch of trivs and bits, and I've also got final question, which is, I don't know, should we do fastest on buzzer? I wanted to make sure that it was stated properly. So it's what starbase were they going to at the end that I just said was also the name of the girl from the Golden Compass.
I spelt it wrong in my notes, so I said it wrong. But I've added it. I
just go back a second time and make sure that I, wrote it down right. But yeah. So let's see who can get to it quickly. And I think you can't answer this, Monty, can you? Because you've got it written right in front of you.
I'm not saying it. No, I'm not answering. No, I've written myself out.
100 points to whomever. We'll see. If it depends. If Mickey gets this, then he'll be drawing with you. If any of the other guys get this, then Stuplum is first to answer, and being
Lyrics
that he's
3.
oh yeah, lyrics 3. That's close. Not quite.
I have a feeling that
Close, but
might
no
be
cigar.
an autocorrect.
We'll see. But anyway, in the meantime, so yeah, apparently, the guys at the Senate, they all had these sort of polo neck thingies, all different color ones. Apparently, those were the turtleneck men's shirts from Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan. It was the Starfleet officers' uniforms, like the insert bits.
I have a picture ready for this exact thing.
Oh, well done.
Here you go.
He said it was autocorrect. So Stuplum got there first. Karen got there, but just so close, but just in second place.
You can see this guy here has got the white one that
Yeah,
Kirk and
colours.
Spock, got the red of engineering here, the yellow of ops, and the blue of science and medical. So yeah, all of those.
That's pretty cool.
Night, dude. All right. Yeah, pretty cool.
What else have we got?
Alex says good night to stream.
Internet says night, owl pal.
The internet says good night to you.
Oh yeah, and Stuplum says don't forget to like the stream.
Oh, I didn't say that, did I?
No,
we didn't say that earlier. No,
we've had a few likes already though. We had 4 likes before we even started streaming, so that was good.
Oh, that's nice.
So when they all decided to go off down, the 4 of them all went down to the planet there. They didn't actually say, anybody to actually take over the bridge. And speaking of the bridge, there's part of the way through this episode in my notes where I was like, "Where's Wes?" And I thought it was going to be who was missing this week? Crusher. But no, he appeared just sort of towards the end there.
Yep.
They did have a random at the comm through most of the episode, but yeah, he hasn't been in the last couple of episodes, has he?
He was at the beginning as well.
Oh,
because he was the one that it was Wes that pointed out the drive section had disappeared when they went around the back of the asteroid.
Yeah, so there wasn't anybody missing. And then originally they were going to have quite a big violent scene at the end. It was going to be, I don't know, quite a big thing, but just the choreography and the extras and whatever effort to do it, they just couldn't fit it into like a 7-day filming schedule. But people, most people kind of think it lost something, but I think what's he called, Cliff Bowl says he thinks it did take away a little bit from the episode, but Pillar thinks it works quite well because it's that very sort of Star Trek-y, you're just not ready kind of thing, and makes more of that sort of political statement than just ending in a bunch of bloodshed. But yeah, which is pretty cool. Is there anything else? Oh, and just like a continuity error. So when Danar shoots the Prime Minister, like there's this big sort of blackened sort of chunk of wall that goes missing behind him, and then it comes back again in the next scene when you see him. So yeah, just a little miscontinuity error, and that's about it, really. I think from my notes.
So do you think it actually ended in a firefight and the government got murdered, or do you think they actually saw reason? You don't know.
It sounded like. Obviously, Danar was just wanting, death by cop, wasn't he? He was like, yeah.
That's what he was going for. Shoot us.
And I think, unfortunately for him, he seemed to feel a little bit suicidal, but he's kind of programmed with this need to survive. And I don't know, the Prime Minister, even though he was a little bit of a slime ball, he did seem like he was going to negotiate. So yeah, I'd like to think that they did. And plus, if they've got Federation looking over their shoulders, helping with the reintegration of these people, and they want to get into the Federation, like basically now Big Brother is watching, I don't think they'd have the option to just screw it up. So yeah.
Let's try and stop doing that. Anyway.
Is that Chewy? No. Oh no!
It's my
camera
flashing
every now and then. Yeah. Stuplum says night night owl pal. I say Majram owl pal.
Majram.
Klingon in.
Practicing your Klingon.
And Andrew said that nothing of value was lost. What do you mean by that? Just explain that comment.
It might have been something we said at the time, but we're not. Yeah,
Yeah,
not sure
sorry
what that
if we
was.
didn't pick up
What
on
was
that
that
in
in
time.
reference to? Sorry, Andrew, we missed that one. Yeah. So answers to the question.
Yeah, we've Stu Plum was the first to answer. So his lyrics 3, he confirmed wasn't autocorrect and was supposed to be Lyra. And then
Yes.
Karen came in seconds later with Lyra 3, but Stu Plum got there first, I'm afraid.
Fastest
So
fingers
that means,
first.
I mean, not I'm afraid, I'm happy for Stu Plum, obviously. So that means Stu Plum, who was on 100, has then taken it with 200. You, Monty, were on 140, which was pretty good effort. Kaz was on 80, so definitely she'd got in there a few seconds earlier, would have won it with 180. Mickey had 40, G Star had 40, and Andrew had 80.
So all important. Who won?
Bringing up the spreadsheet. So Stu Plum won
Stu Plum won.
with 200 points.
So
you were second. You
that
still haven't
puts
got
him
off the starting block, Monty.
No, I didn't. I haven't.
Even though we gave you that 80 points for Cargo Bay 2 when you had it right in front of you.
That means Stu Plum is now level pegging with Karen for the top of the season.
Nice. 4 each.
Yes, 4 each. I'm going to have to put, so they've got
Kevin and Andrew on there.
Kevin on 0 and Andrew. You're on our board now, so you've got to turn up. See?
I still can't believe. I mean, obviously, sort of Andrew and Kevin, you're a little bit newer to this, but in the last season, Mickey was on like 15 by the end of the season. I mean, he was like the Lewis Hamilton of a few years ago, where
right.
He'd already won it before we were halfway through the season, and he's won 1 so far this season. So. Bless, but it's a little, there's more competition this year. It's or this season, yeah. So interesting.
So we've got The Hunted. What do we want to give it out of 10? Yeah, it's a big fat set.
A big fat 0.
Yeah,
you never know.
Right.
We'll talk in a minute about the next week's episode, and people were saying earlier there are free ways of getting it streamed as well. But if you watch next week's episode and join in, you might be able to get on.
You never know. You never know. So it's that time of the episode where we get our score paddles out.
You're already flashing a 9. Is that from last week?
Oh no, that was from last week. Yeah, no, that was from last week. So we want scores out of 10 from 0 to 10. Put your scores in chat. What would you score this episode? Did we get any scores from Facebook post?
Oh, from Facebook. No, it did take a while for the Facebook post to go up. I did get another belated score last year where somebody said they'd scored it at 9.8. But no, so far I've had a couple of likes of the photo and such, but no marks out of 10.
No marks.
It only went up about half an hour before our episode. Next week I will post it on Facebook on the Tuesday, which will give people a lot more time to respond. So
Andrew's given it a 6. Stu Plum's given it a 6. It was good, but not great, says Andrew. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a bit like you said, they had ambitions for this episode, and I think it had a lot of good elements in it. There were some good action scenes. Well, the way he kept evading the crew was quite clever, and I quite liked him. He was quite endearing as a antagonist.
Yeah, and James Cromwell was a really good, for extra parts in an episode. They were quite strong extra parts,
Yeah.
There were a couple of good effects and things like that. It's like a souffle that doesn't quite rise properly. They almost had all of the right ingredients, but it still felt a little lacking for some reason.
So, should we give our scores?
Yep, let's do that. 3, 2, 1.
2, 1. Whooshing. Me being the ever optimist for the season 3, have gone one higher than expectations, and gone with 7.
To be fair, on IMDb it's 7.5 scores. Whereas last week the episode scored 8.5, and between you and I, we did average 8.5. This episode on IMDb is 7.5, but it only scores 6.5 as an average between us. So I guess we're batting a little below this time, but we haven't got G stars.
We haven't got G stars, so we can't see where it actually would actually plant
We'll
itself
have to
for
report
this.
back on that next week.
Yeah. But yeah,
Do
so
we know what we're looking at next week?
yes, I did.
I love this when I put you on the spot at the end.
Oh.
You had it all last week. You were like, I know, I've already looked it up, but I've got you.
I did.
I got you again.
I did look it up. I did. And
Can't remember.
no, I can't remember. What was it?
We'll tell you in a minute, Kevin. Which one you need to watch?
The High Ground.
The High Ground.
High Ground.
Which one's that again? Give us a quick synopsis.
The High Ground. Oh gosh, hang on. I will do that. The High Ground. Bear with me. Right. Okay. Dr. Crusher is captured by terrorists who want to involve the Federation in their struggle for freedom.
Oh, a Crusher episode.
Yes.
They don't have.
I seem to remember this being a controversial episode. Possibly at the time because of its depiction of terrorism.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
Interesting. I'm sure that'll pop up in the trivia and the research and such like. Its reception and things.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll have quite a lot to talk about that. But I have a feeling, I don't know, but I have a feeling there was some controversy about it.
You're saying that's ringing a bell for me as well, actually.
But yes, The High Ground is next week's episode.
Kevin says he hasn't got Netflix, but there were some suggestions earlier. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah.
Have a look through the chat, but somebody was saying Pick. Oh, you were saying it's on Pick channel. Ah, right. So, yeah, but it's you'd be according to whatever the schedule that is, wouldn't you?
What?
Kevin was saying it's on Pick. As in like the TV channel, they play reruns of it, but he wouldn't be able to pick and choose what episode he wants.
So you can't pick on Pick.
Yeah, that's just it's just the name of the channel.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Sad times.
Yeah. Yeah. No. I think Netflix is the only place, isn't it, at the moment? You can get the DVDs for next to nothing off of eBay.
That's true. Yeah. That's true.
They're pretty cheap because people want Blu-rays at least now, or they just download them. So you might be able to pick them up cheap off eBay. That's the only thing I can suggest if you don't have Netflix. Apart from sailing the high seas and getting yourself a chipped Amazon Fire Stick and a good VPN. But I would not suggest that to anyone out there.
No.
Yeah.
No pirating. Pirates bad.
No.
Except
you can't pick on Pick. No.
Yeah, he's confirming your assessment that you can't pick on Pick.
Isn't that ironic?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh well, never mind. Sorry about that. Yes. Well, even if you can't watch it, you can still join us next week and listen to us to explain the episode to you in the pictures.
Yeah, so and maybe I'll try and have guess the colour of the flower and pick A, B, C, D's, and then you've got a chance. You got a chance.
Yeah.
Just got to be lucky.
As long as you listen, you've always got a chance.
Yeah,
you've always
got a chance. You know, Monty often says the names of the things that I ask the questions about anyway.
How's your wine this evening? Was it nice?
This Dan Django is really, really nice. I mean, it's really, really dark for a start. It's like... It is
blood wine.
Yeah, it is like blood wine. There's very, very little red in it. It's pretty much almost black, but it's very tasty. Very nice Australian Shiraz.
I'm going to test your memory now, Maz.
Oh God.
Yes.
That's never a good thing. Go on.
Yes. What was the Klingon word of the day?
Oh, it was Nuchnech.
Nookne. Yay! You got it
Hey.
right. Yes. Hello.
I was just like, it was something like nuking somebody. So that's how I remembered it. Nookneck.
Like nuking someone. Nookne. Yes. Hello. So that was our Klingon word of the day at the beginning of the episode. Hello. So there you go.
Oh, and Suplum saying you can study up by reading all about it on Memory Alpha. That's also true.
Stop. Yeah.
You can on IMDb. You can get a summary of the episode.
IMDb. Yeah. There's Wiki. It's on Wikipedia. Yeah. Or you could just forget all that reading, all that research. Just come along 8 o'clock next Wednesday.
What it's all about.
And just listening to us drone on about it for 1.5 hours. It's better. It's a better way. It's just a better way.
Funny how it takes us twice as long to talk about it as it is to actually watch the episode.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Anyway, thanks, Stu Plum. Thanks to Kevin Worrell for joining us. Thank you, Andrew Semple, for coming along. Karen, Mickey, all the way from Bulgaria. Majram to Stu Plum and everyone else.
Majram, Stu Plum.
Majram. If you can't wait to see my ugly face again, you can join us at 8 o'clock on Friday for the Monty Zone, where we'll be talking about Bigfoot, Sasquatches and wild men. I'm looking forward to that on Friday with G-Star, going through G-Star Vault's videos and looking at all the footage he's compiled and discussing the pros and cons of all that stuff. So that's Friday. Join us then. If not, come back next week, 8 o'clock next Wednesday for The High Ground, the next episode
Andrew's going to be back
TNG.
and get himself on the scoreboard.
He's coming back. He's on the scoreboard now, so he's got to get himself a point. Yes.
You got to get yourself off the starting blocks.
Yes. So look forward to seeing you all next time on The Vault. Good night, Mazza McBob.
Good night, Monty Pan.
And good night to you all. Cheers.
Majram, everybody. Majram.
Majram.